evening, Love Bay family, and welcome back to Real Talk on the Mental Health Hour. I'm your host, Felicia Fishoff, registered psychotherapist and founder of Rooted in Resilience Psychotherapy and Wellness, where we believe healing happens when we create space for honesty, humanity, and hope. Tonight's conversation is one I know many of us need: gratitude in the middle of the mess. Because sometimes life feels like chaos, and gratitude isn't just a mood, it's a practice we learn right in the middle of the storm. And joining me tonight are two powerhouse clinicians who are no strangers to our Love Bay family. Shanique Edwards is a registered psychotherapist and mental health consultant known for her deep, culturally grounded approach to healing. She supports individuals and communities through trauma, identity based stress, and life transitions, helping people reconnect to their resilience and reclaim their voice. Shanique brings warmth, wisdom, and a grounded presence to every conversation she hears, and we're so grateful to have her back with us tonight. Charlene Lex is a registered psychotherapist with a strong relational, emotionally attuned approach. She supports individuals navigating anxiety, grief, trauma, and life's many, many complexities, always centering safety, compassion, and the human experience. Charlene has a gift for helping people slow down, listen inward, and find clarity even in seasons that feel overwhelming. And we're honored to have her here for this real talk conversation. So the chat is open. Jump in, share your thoughts, your questions, your reflections, invite a friend, tag someone, or send this link to a loved one who could use a little grounding tonight. So let's learn, heal, and grow together. And also, just a gentle reminder that our show is for education and community care purposes only. It is not therapy, and it does not replace individualized mental health support. If you need deeper assistance, please reach out to a qualified mental health professional in your area. Now, let's jump in, ladies.
Hi, how you
Hey,
doing?
all right. Good to see you as always.
You? How's everybody doing?
You know what? It's the end of the year.
Right?
Yes. And I think that this topic tonight is so fitting for the season that we're all in, right? Gratitude in the middle of the mess. So you know that I love to jump in and start off with this question: why do we need to be talking about gratitude in the middle of the mess tonight?
Because everything feels so busy as we're entering into the Christmas season,
Mm,
right? There's so much to think about, so much to do, so much running around. Like, there's just so much on our plates and so much in our minds, right?
mm,
And just being able to take some time out with like our listeners tonight, just to remind everybody of the importance of slowing down enough to just look around you and see the things that we actually do already have to be grateful for, right? It's not about
mhm.
all the things we're going to get in a month from now. It really is about all the things that we already have that we can actually be grateful for in this moment at this
Yeah,
time.
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely.
And I mean, I would add too, I think there is, we have to acknowledge that, coming upon the holiday season is not always easy for everybody, right?
Mm,
Depending on what your month look like over the course of the year, it's very subjective. And so, for some, this might be a really,
Mhm.
challenging season, a hard season that they're coming into. But that doesn't negate the fact that we can still find glimmers of hope, of joy, of promise in the midst of that. And so I think this, position of gratitude is one where, depending on where you fall on the spectrum, can be
Yeah,
stabilizing and helping you navigate however this upcoming season is going to look like for you.
mhm.
absolutely. Absolutely. I think that, there's usually like two different types of responses when it comes to gratitude. Like there's like that, oh, gratitude is just so fluffy. Like what? And then there's like, oh, gratitude. We need to be grateful for. So what should our positioning be when it comes to like gratitude? Like, what is the importance of it?
I like to ground gratitude in the idea of mental wellness. There's
Mm,
just something about just taking a moment, just relaxing, taking a moment in your day to just actually like check in, right? I do the heart check. You put your hand and you put it on your heart and you just do a check-in with yourself, right?
mm,
Because there's so much to be grateful for. Even as you get out of bed in the morning, or even as you're lying in bed in the mornings, I am grateful that
mm,
I'm breathing today. I'm grateful that my eyes work. I open my eyes, I can look around. I'm grateful that I can walk. When I swing my legs over at the side of the bed, I can walk. I'm grateful for my heart is beating underneath my hand. I'm grateful. So it's even just going all the way down, truncating it down to the little things. I'm so grateful for all of these basic things. It's
mm,
not big stuff yet. It's just the basic things. And if we can actually practice that gratitude for the little things, then that right there sets our tone off for the rest of the day so well.
Yeah.
mhm, mhm.
I think I have a little bit of an opposite position than Shar here in terms of
Yeah.
I think it is also grounded in mental wellness.
Yeah.
But I also consider the fact that, sometimes it's not easy to really recognize the things that we do have to be grateful for, right? In the midst of the quote unquote mess, sometimes it can
Mhm,
be really hard. And so I think as thinking about it as a mental wellness discipline, right? It's something that we have to discipline ourselves to do in order to
mm,
really and truly, just as Shar said, slow it all down, bring yourself to a sense of present mindedness so
mm,
that you can kind of think about what are your glimmers through the midst of the storm that you can
mm,
kind of realize that these are basic building blocks of
mm,
joy that I can, piece together in the midst of everything
mm,
to then be grateful for. I caution sometimes in thinking that for those of us who take that position, generally or even naturally, it can be easy for us to sit here and to think about yes, the breath in my lungs and the fact that I have a roof over my head and things like that. But I also am conscious of the fact that like when you're going through it, it can be kind of difficult sometimes to latch on to those things. But if it becomes a discipline that that you take on when you are feeling well, it's something that you can carry into those times when it's maybe a little bit more challenging to sit here and really actually say, okay, I'm grateful for those things.
I love that. It's not a replacement for hard, like feeling our hard emotions.
Mhm.
It's like it's both and
Yeah.
we could still see those glimmers, but it's okay to acknowledge that we're going through it.
Mhm.
We're not trying to like gaslight ourselves and be like, oh,
Mhm.
we're not going through it. It's peaches, it's roses, it's butterflies. But it really, we're like, oh my gosh, but there's just something about being able to find those glimmers of hope. One thing that I love to share with clients that are really going through it, like really going through those hard times of depression, or they're really feeling stuck in their trauma. I tell them, look for the breaks in the clouds.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
yes, it feels cloudy, and it is cloudy, it's overcast, but ever so often there is a break in the cloud and a little bit of sunshine streams through. And
Mhm.
when those moments happen, just bask in that warmth,
Mhm.
right? And I feel like, when we're talking about gratitude, what we're saying is pay attention to those breaks in the clouds.
Mhm.
Allow that moment to actually like fill you up, you know, and then it becomes overcast again. And
Mhm.
it's overcast, right? But there are still those moments that we can pay attention to.
And I think the beauty of gratitude or having a gratitude practice is that it
Mhm.
shifts our lens from the thing that may be hurting us, the mess before us, all of the hustle and bustle, all of that, to what is the thing that has always kept you going, right? Like it
Mhm.
helps you kind of, and it could be those basic elements. Maybe it's just the fact that I'm awake this morning and there's air in my lungs. That's the only thing that's right. But
It's
then,
your
right?
silence.
When you like pull it apart even more than you realize, it's like
Yeah.
It's just the laughter and the hustle and bustle of the kids in the morning as I hear them, and just, the ability to maybe be a parent. It's, my partner, and the fact that, like, they know my favorite coffee drink and they make it perfectly every morning. Like, you get to, like, shift yourself from really kind of hyper focused on all of the things that are demanding your attention in that moment, to really having that appreciation for, these are the things that keep me going.
Mhm.
Not a lot. It may not seem great in the eyes of anybody else, but
Yeah.
without it, I don't know if I'd be able to keep going.
Absolutely. So, what is the overall, like, benefit? Like, if, say, someone listening, which I'm sure there's many listeners out there that is just going through it, what is the benefit of adopting a heart of gratitude even in the difficult times?
Mhm. I think part of it is like just retuning our minds, right? And just being able to focus in, just pivoting our minds, just retuning it a little bit, and look for the good, right? When
Yeah.
things are hard, it's easy enough to then just kind of get pulled into it, sunken into it. There's a heaviness that comes with it, right?
Yeah.
It's sometimes hard to get away from that. And so it's like
Mhm.
so important to then be able to hold it. Yes,
Yes.
are hard, right? It is what it is right now, right? This is what I've got. This is the mixed bag, right? And in the middle of that, it's being able to actually just attune and shift your mind to the thing. It doesn't matter how small, medium, or large it is, the thing that's just bringing some joy to you right now. The thing that's just bringing
Mhm.
the win, the small win, right?
Mhm.
For this moment, it doesn't mean that it's a win for the day, doesn't mean it's a win for the week, the month, the year, but for this moment, it's a win for me. And that
Mhm.
right there offsets it just a little bit, right?
Mhm.
So that you're not sunken down and pulled down into the abyss of it's all bad, right?
Yes.
Life is a mixture of good, bad, up, down, you name it. And just being able to actually just tweak our thinking, renew our mind a little bit to
Mhm.
then say, I can focus in on that good thing. That
Mhm.
shifts things so like exponentially,
Mhm.
especially over time, because added up over time, you start seeing that it just helps to lighten you over time.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I would, also say that, having a gratitude practice, much like what Shar was saying, is a regulator, right? Both
Yes.
physiologically and psychologically.
That's right.
It can help to widen our window of tolerance, right? And that's just
Mhm.
fancy psychological language for our
Yeah.
ability to be able to manage the stress and really work that
Yes.
stress, right? And so,
Mhm.
this idea of kind of really honing in on those counter experiences of, joy and lightness and connection and things
Mhm.
that bring us delight, it really kind of can help to break up cycles of hypervigilance, because we're so focused on
Yes.
all the things that we need to be focused on. And that's no fault of any, and that's not right, that's not wrong or anything like that. But it is to say that, especially within our community, we are perpetually in a state of
Mhm.
hypervigilance.
Yep.
There's so much we
Yes.
have to be concerned about and worried about and reflect about and plan
Mhm.
for and mitigate for, and then mitigate for the mitigations, and
Mhm.
so forth, right? So when we practice this kind of discipline of, finding the breaks within the clouds, or what I like to call little glimmers that shine through your window, it really
Yes.
kind of allows you to, like, get outside of that,
Mm.
right? And just as Shar is saying, really and truly slow everything down, right? To be able
Yeah.
to realize that even in the midst of everything that might be hard, I'm still standing. I still
Mhm.
got this. I didn't fall apart. Yesterday
Mhm.
was hard. Today might be harder, but I'm here. I'm still here, right? And sometimes even
Yes.
having that knowledge, just much like to echo what Shar said, to, that renewing of our mind, it
Mhm.
can then, help the stress kind of feel, you know, not to say lighter, that may not be the proper words for it, but maybe in that moment, right?
Yeah.
Just a little bit more manageable, or give you a little
Mhm.
bit more clarity around how I want to navigate, how I want to orient myself for for the rest of the day or through this, mountain that I'm climbing.
Mhm.
Absolutely. And I'm glad that you mentioned that it's also like it does impact us physically as well. When we can adopt gratitude, right? It does something to our brain.
Oh, it releases all the good things, the dopamine,
Yes.
the serotonin,
Mm.
like all the good, the endorphins. Like,
Mm-mm-mm.
really, when you all you don't need to go to no one else for those things, right?
Yes.
Also, it's been, scientifically proven that,
Yes.
having a mindfulness or gratitude practice absolutely does help to release those great, hormones that we need in order to sustain us, especially in stressful times.
Absolutely. Like even in previous shows, like we've mentioned time and time again, like everything is connected.
Yeah.
Right? Our mental health is connected to our physical and our emotional health and well being, right? And so, even like you mentioned, Shanique, right? Like when we can adopt a positioning of gratitude, it does something to our body. It helps us to release, like you mentioned, those stress hormones, and we feel it in our bodies. It's very, another fancy therapy term, it's very somatic. Right?
Yeah.
And people practice this intentionally so that they can help to reduce their stress, right?
Mhm.
And if we can learn to adopt it, not just once in a while, not just during testimony service, I remember testimony service. I wonder if that happens still. Do your churches do a testimony service?
More.
Like
They
back in
used
the day?
to. They used to
Back in
back
the
in the day. That
day.
was good, right?
Right?
There's good stuff there.
You would come up with your testimony, you have to give God thanks, right? But yeah, like, it's not just for those moments, right? But it's also for, like we've been mentioning, those hard times.
Mhm. And I think sometimes too, when you pair gratitude with things like being outside, right? Just
Mm.
like, again, tie into the body, right? Our nervous system sometimes is just so overwhelmed and so stressed, right? So being able to go outside and just take, even if it's 5 minutes, you take a breath of deep, fresh air and you look at the sky and you look at the trees and you look at the sun if there's sun. You look at the little, snowflakes coming down for the people who live in this part of the world, right?
Mhm.
Just take a moment. It's the mindfulness of it, right? That you are giving yourself this gift. Yes, when I go back inside, the drama of my coworkers and all of their stuff is going to be there. But in this moment, I'm going to take a moment for me, right? It's being able to really tell yourself, I am worth taking care of in this way. I'm worth getting outside and just getting some fresh air in my lungs. I'm worth taking a moment of gratitude, even though everything around me might look hard or challenging. I'm worth this.
Mm.
And I appreciate how, because that was coming to my mind is like, I think sometimes when we think about what this practice can look like or what this discipline looks like, it's kind of like, I sit here on a pillow or a cushion and I close my eyes and I sit down and I write down 5 things and to be honest, it can look like anything, right? It can look
Yeah.
like just appreciating the scent of your coffee brewing and allowing yourself to just be, present in that moment and have that scent just kind of like hit you. It can
Mm,
be, exactly what Shar was saying, going back outside and like connecting and feeling even, I don't like the cold. However, sometimes feeling that coldness on your cheeks,
mm,
right? It could just bring you back to present here. The fact that we can actually have these different seasons and we can, enjoy, these different things within each season, the activities, and maybe it brings back a memory for you or something like that. And so I think sometimes we think that there has to be a like one size fits all or a
mm,
perfect way to do this, but it's how you find it. Maybe it is, sitting down and like eating, the oxtail and the rice and just licking up your fingers as you eat up the oxtail bone. Maybe that's a little bit of what I would like to do right now for my gratitude practice. But
I think we need to go back to sugarcane, guys.
Maybe.
I think so too.
Those things like that are, different ways in which we can really and truly, or it's just sometimes it's just finding those moments that bring you joy, right? And really allowing yourself to do that. It could be, combing your child's hair and braiding it and having the conversations that you get to have with your daughter, for example, as you braid her hair. Like, those are all things that, are essentially a gratitude practice. They just are showing up a little bit different.
Mhm.
Okay, so for listeners right now that are maybe they're clinically depressed and they just can't get up out of bed, because I know we've been talking about going outside, but for some people, even just brushing their teeth is hard, right? So, what would we say to them in terms of when it's all they can see is dark? And they're struggling to find that one thing, or they don't even want to eat because of what's happening and those heavy emotions. Like, what is something that they can do to be able to focus even on a hint of gratitude?
I think connection.
Mhm.
I think when we think about the importance of
Mhm.
various forms of connection, and I think
Mhm.
where you can, um, even if it's just a matter of just saying, hey, I need 8 minutes, right? My friends, we actually have this, a group of my girlfriends have this kind of thing where it's like, if you just need somebody to talk to you, just send out the text that says, I need 8 minutes. Because that's
Mhm.
all it really takes, that amount of
Mhm.
to really kind of get you sometimes motivated, or
Mhm.
with a sense of peace, or just even the sense that somebody sees you. And obviously if it gets longer, it's longer. That's beautiful. But to think,
Yes.
just giving yourself the opportunity to reach out for that 8 minutes, that would take a lot. I can appreciate that. But I think
Mhm.
connection is one, definitely one place to start. If you
Yes, absolutely. So starting small.
Mhm.
Mhm. I love that. Absolutely love that, Shanique. I think additionally, just being able to be grateful for the little things that you can do. If
Yes.
all you can do that day is get out of bed and stand there in the bathroom and brush your teeth,
Yes.
be grateful for that moment of brushing your teeth, right?
Yes, that peppermint, right?
Feel that peppermint in your mouth, and you know that this is one extra thing I was able. It's a win, right?
Yes.
A win today, right?
Yes.
Same thing. Like, if you're able to get to the kitchen and make yourself a cup of tea, I want you to just hold the mug in your hand, right? Feel the warmth of it. Just inhale the scent of it, right? Hazelnut, right? And just be there in that moment, feeling grateful
Mhm.
because it's still one thing you're able to do today that maybe you weren't able to do yesterday. And
Yes.
if all you could do is just stay in bed and just wrap up in your your comforter and just be there, there's some. I'll actually show you what I mean. There's this. I just went into my desk here, right? I have a little thing of hand cream that's
Mhm.
in each of my desks. It's always near me, right? So
Mhm.
what I have in my bedside table is lavender. This one is a rose, right? And all I do is sometimes I just open it and I put it in my hand and I just rub my hand and I just inhale it, right? So
Mhm.
even if you're in your bed and you don't feel like getting up, it's too much for you, but maybe you can just pull out your drawer and take up that like essential oil or that cream and rub on your hand and just inhale it. That's all you can do. It soothes your senses a little bit more, and just be happy. Just, it's a win. I was
Mhm.
able to do that today. And so I think the main thing that I want people to actually really get and take away is it doesn't have to be major,
Mhm.
right? No matter how minuscule or small you think it is, it's still huge because it's still a win for you, and you can be grateful for that moment and that win.
I would add to, like, it doesn't also have to be like emotional or emotionally positive. It could be something that's emotionally neutral, right? Like, just as what Char saying, like,
Mhm.
I'm brushing my teeth, right?
Yes.
And that doesn't necessarily have a positive or a negative connotation to it at all. It just is what it is. And so sometimes a gratitude practice can just be situated in what is just factual, what is actually
Yes.
present and happening in that moment. I'm laying in my bed. and my room is quiet.
Mhm.
There's quietness around me.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So I think, it's for me, I always tell my clients we're just reaching for the lowest hanging fruit here, right? And
Mhm.
that's not to belittle anything. That is just to say you don't need to try to, climb up the tree, grab the fruit that's right at the top of whatever is in reach for you to grab, right?
Mhm.
And to hold on to and to acknowledge. That's wonderful.
Mhm.
Mhm. Absolutely. Now, I know that we have the westernized lens of gratitude, which is often very individualistic,
Mhm.
right? So just journal on your own,
Mm.
in the woods, by a stream, alone. But then we have our types of gratitude for many of our Caribbean and Afrocentric cultures. That is, it's just different. I think the term is restorative gratitude,
Mm.
right? What does gratitude look like for our cultures, or when we think about how we express gratitude as a people?
Mm.
What does that look like, and how is it different?
Mhm. I think sometimes it's filled with community,
Yeah.
right? I'm
Yeah.
grateful for the community that I have. I'm grateful, even here, I'm grateful for my girls, right?
Yes. Grateful for you too, girl.
I'm right? Feel the same way about you, right? But it's just that I'm grateful for the people that I get to actually do life with. You're sitting around. I was actually with my sister and my mom and them on the weekend on Sunday actually.
Mm.
We were sitting around and we were talking about like some different food places we wanted to check out,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And even though we hadn't gone there, even though we hadn't had the food yet, we were like, "Did you see about the big giant patties that they have now at this?" And like we're talking
Yes.
about they have the different flavors of the patties and which one we want to try and all
Mhm.
of that stuff. And it's just the idea of sitting in community. And this is the thing: we are a communal people. We're not
Yeah.
individualistic,
Mhm.
right? And I think we lose track of that when we come to places like North America because everything is so individualistic and everything is centered around the nuclear family, right?
Mhm.
And so we forget, some of us sometimes
Mhm.
forget that we're actually built to actually be a part of a village, that we're built to be a
Yes.
community, right? And so
Yes.
how we're actually like built to be restorative is to come together, is to sit together, is to crack the jokes, is to laugh, is to listen to music, is to have the food. All of those things is part of the that building us of us up, right? That
Yeah.
helps to build us up. And when we're able to actually like build that kind of community and build that kind of village, my goodness, that's when we can actually just like, oh, that was so good, right? And I
Yeah.
haven't laughed like that in such a long time. You hear
Yes.
stories, right? And that's what we're then able to feel grateful for.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I definitely co-sign to all of that. I think, our
Yes.
practices of gratitude are really different than the Western world in terms of when we think about carnival, right?
Mm.
That's an example of, just being able to have a really great time. When you think about even just that nostalgia that comes from like listening to like music, right? Like,
Mhm.
oh,
Yeah.
may he rest in peace, but I heard that Jimmy Cliff had passed.
Yes. Rest in
Mind
peace.
went back to like songs and where we were
Yes.
family and just the impact he had on the culture and all those
Yes.
different things. And so those are all elements in which we can embody gratitude, right? Sometimes it's not always has to be something that is vocalized or something that is written, or sometimes it's the embodiment of these moments that again bring us joy, remind us of the good
Yes.
remind us of the break in the cloud.
Mhm.
And so
Yes.
sit down, and my mind is going back to the oxtail again. Which
Oh, girl. Mm.
oxtail, right? And you just remember, you like when your mom made it, or your
Mhm.
grandmother made it, or your
Yes.
aunt, right? And
Yes.
sitting there, you're remembering all of these things that really and truly help your nervous system to
Yes.
relax, to begin to just, decompress, to begin to, release, as we talked about, all of those great hormones,
Mhm.
and where you then are able to embody a moment of just joy and
Mm.
excitement or laughter, like how many times, then
Yes.
again, to know me is to know that I laugh at my own jokes sometimes, and I make up jokes in my head and laugh. However, but for me, right, that is, I'll think of something and it pops in my head and it just makes me laugh as I remember it. But that's my little break of like, yeah,
Yeah.
that was a good time. That was fun, or I like that.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
I'm gonna piggyback onto this around like that whole collective community of
Mhm.
gratitude because Canadian Thanksgiving that happened just like last month. I decided that I was actually going to do a whole presentation on like Calypsonians, right?
Oh.
Right? And
Uh-huh.
then part of it was actually teaching the younger generation dollar wine because they didn't even
Ah,
know about
Hey.
so fun, right?
What?
So fun. And so this is the thing. Like even now, I think back about that memory, and I can't
Yeah.
help but laugh and smile because I remember just my
Mm.
little niece and nephews and my kids all doing the dollar wine, and some
Mm.
were doing it great, and some, well, it's okay. Right? We love all of them, and so
Yes.
the thing, like it's having these kinds of moments. I'm gonna call it the dollar wine moments, right?
yes, I love
Mm.
Our
it.
family, we have with our community. That's so important.
Yeah,
Yes,
absolutely.
yes, and it's healing. And I
Mhm.
hope you're gonna do that next time we hang out. I want to see your dollar wine. I'm
I
just
think
Dollar
saying.
wine is great.
All right.
I think most culture, like most European people, will like that song. You know when it's
Mhm.
played, and
Yes.
or so and so is gonna be on the floor. So you just know that song alone. So I actually love using that as a gratitude example.
Absolutely. And I just love how vibrant, even as we're talking about, I could feel like
Yeah.
the gratitude and the joy, even through the memories. And our cultures are storytellers. We're
Yes.
storytellers through the memories. This is where we find our gratitude. This is where
Mhm.
we feel restored. And
Mhm.
we tell these stories through music. We tell it through, when we're just cracking up jokes like you guys were mentioning, like we're storytellers by nature.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. It's so interesting because it's like sit me down and give me a good Burr Nancy story.
Mm.
Oh, I am like happy, right? It literally takes me back to childhood,
Yes.
Mm.
right? And so this is the thing you were just saying, like we are storytellers. We're people who love music. We're people who love stories. We're people who
Yeah,
love food. We're people who love community.
we love to dance.
We
Yeah.
love to dance, right?
Movement.
And we've kind of transplanted
Yes.
us. You know, some of us have been transplanted, but
Yeah.
we still yearn for that, even in the place that we're planted now,
Yeah.
right? And so it's about looking for ways to then build that community. So no matter where you are around the world, that you're actually then still trying to find community, build community that you can actually build those practices into, right? Those gratitude
Absolutely.
practices.
Yeah. Even our food tells a story,
Hmm.
Mhm.
and it triggers these like happy hormones, and I know that you guys were mentioning it earlier, but you have it's our brains are very powerful tools, put it
Yeah,
that way,
yeah.
right? And it's able to evoke positive, joyful moments, even just by a triggered taste bud or a
Hmm.
triggered smell. It's very, very fascinating.
And I think it's in line with, like, when we think about mindfulness practices or grounding practices, we always talk about engaging the senses, right? We
Mm,
go through that whole list: 5 things you can see, 4 things that you can smell, 2 things you can hear, so on and so forth. And so I think in terms of, like, when we think about where do I even start, the question was for somebody who may be, going through, depression and just can't get out of bed. It is about engaging those senses sometimes and just kind of allowing that to be your launching pad, right?
mm,
Tasting the peppermint, right? And
yes.
so, like, I was able to actually stand up today and brush my teeth, and I tasted the peppermint and allow that peppermint to just cool your mouth. And as you're doing that, like, even just
Mm,
having that visualization of just that cooling sensation, and maybe it's now moving throughout the rest of your body, and it's cooling maybe some of the angst you had of getting out of bed and the dread that might have been coming, right? Some of that stuff is
yes.
how you can begin to engage this as a discipline.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The other day, I had my own therapy session because you don't know we believe in having our own therapist.
Yep.
Yes.
Hallelujah. And, and talking about oxtail, I came prepared for that session. I brought my mom's oxtail and rice and peas, and I said, therapist, I came prepared because I need to talk. And she said, oh boy. She said, oh boy, what's in your bowl? I said, my mother's oxtail. She's like, oh, okay. That's your grounding bowl of food. I said, and I did season that bowl. I did season it with but it was comforting. It
Yes.
Yeah.
was comforting, and it helped me to stay in the moment, to
Mhm.
talk about what I really had to talk about,
Mhm.
right? And
Mhm.
that is gratitude. That is grounding. That is a healing thing. But I
Mhm.
think that sometimes, like our Western models and Western way of doing things tend to miss out on, especially
Mhm.
when it deals with our cultures.
Mhm.
And
And I
I
think that's the beauty of actually being like a black person in the West, because we can actually pick and choose whatever we want,
exactly, yeah.
right?
True.
And so that's to lock in. We can literally say, "This is what I want today. This is
Mhm.
what I want tomorrow. This is." Just practice gratitude, however it works for you.
That's
That's
right.
what I want people to actually be able to take away too. You
Yes.
have to figure out what it looks like for you, because it's such a highly individualized process,
Mhm.
right? It's
Mm,
kind of like when I teach my clients around like self-regulation strategies. It's going to be different for everybody, right? And so
mhm,
just being able to hold space for yourself and being able to just offer yourself compassion as you're
mhm.
trying to figure it out. So, what does gratitude look like for you? You're going to have to do the work to figure that out.
Absolutely.
And I was gonna, like, piggyback on that actually when you talked about, like, even how you showed up to your own therapy session, right?
Mhm.
I think sometimes it's about giving ourselves that permission to show up in a way that works for you, right? And I think, that's exactly what Shar was saying in terms of, this being, an individualistic, practice and what works for you. But I think we, unfortunately been conditioned, that we
Mhm,
cannot just show up. We
Mhm.
cannot just be. And sometimes, the element of embodying that gratitude is giving yourself permission to do just that. To
Mhm.
show up
mhm,
in a moment and just be honest that I don't have it to give. I don't
Mhm.
have it to give. I have what I have. Take it or leave it, right?
Mhm.
And knowing that in amongst your community, that's perfectly okay, right?
Mhm.
Or it could be on the flip side too. It's like I can be here to shoulder for whatever anybody else needs to, because I'm today's a great day. I feel
yes.
better, right? And so
Mhm.
I think it's a huge it's really important that we do, begin to give ourselves permission to
Mhm.
even be able to stop and appreciate those breaks and times
Mhm.
Yes.
in our own.
Okay, so I actually have a question then. For
Yes.
all of us, each of us,
Mm.
right? What has been a break in the cloud for you recently?
Hmm. I would say, if I'm going to be honest, I think I do think this year has been a very heavy year for many, in terms of,
Mhm.
Mhm.
like, personally, but also navigating it with clients and things like that. that I am,
Mm.
essentially grateful for exactly what I just said, giving myself permission
Mm.
to just be, right? And sometimes that be is I'm fully present, I'm here with you, whatever you want to have fun, I'm ready down to have fun. But sometimes that be is just I just don't have it today. I
Mhm.
just can't do it and not feel guilty about that.
Mhm.
And the fact that I can actually like stand in that has actually brought me a lot of joy.
Mm.
The fact that like I'm like, oh wow, like this is what it's like when I put myself first.
Mhm.
This
Yeah.
feels really really good, and so that's been my way of kind of beginning to embody these moments of break. Because sometimes I have to create it myself, to be honest.
I
Mhm.
love that because what I'm actually hearing you say is that you're grateful for having choice,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
right? And that's pretty powerful.
Mhm.
All right, Miss Felicia, you up?
Yeah, man. I would say like family. Like when
Mhm.
even on my hardest days, I just
Mhm.
look at my kids,
Mm.
Mm.
literally, and how cute they are, and I'm like,
You're adorable.
Yeah.
"You're mine." Like honestly, that I could be having the worst day, and I just
Mm.
look at their cute smile, like, "Mommy, can you tuck me up?" That's what they literally say, "Tuck me up," and I'm like, "Okay." And like it's a blessing to have them, and I
Mhm.
know they're not going to be this small forever,
Mhm.
right? So I just bask in that moment, right?
Mm.
And yeah, I would say that those are my breaks in the clouds.
Aw. Well, your boys are absolutely adorable, right?
I'm gonna stink their cheek, and I'm gonna try my best to kiss one because now you don't want my kisses no more. I said, since when? You're being cringe, mom. Okay. I said, thank you very much. He called me Unc today. I said, I'm not ancient. He's like,
No.
you know what that means? I'm like, yeah, I know what that means. I
That's
guess, but
great.
How about you, Sharp? Question posed to you.
Oh my goodness. So this year, my eldest is this is her last year of high school.
Mm,
Ah, my heart, my
Black
heart.
excellence at its finest.
yes,
Right?
child.
Right? Right? And I am savoring, literally savoring all of the little moments with her, right? And so even as she is in her own busyness getting all the things done she has to get done, it's the moments where honestly both her and her brother, right, they're 17 months apart, when they come in and they want hugs, that's huge, right? They come in and they want kisses, and I'm like, oh, right. So Felicia, this too shall pass. You're gonna get over here on this side, and you're gonna want the kisses again. Trust me, right? Even tonight, I was like rushing back down the stairs because I was like at back-to-back clients all day, and then I rushed in, got something really quick to eat, and then was rushing back out to come out for the show tonight. And literally, like my son, like runs from where he was, mom, 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 mom. And I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And he was like, I just want to give you a hug and a kiss. And he just hugged me and gave me a kiss on the cheek. And I'm like, oh. And so that's what I'm grateful for, right? For me, it's not the big things, right? Money can't buy this stuff, right? But it's like so important to me that it's like, as I look at the kids, I'm like, I'm raising good people.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for that, right? I'm grateful for that because it's like I've poured so much of my heart and soul and sweat and tears into parenting. This feels good in this season to be able to see the goodness that's coming out of it.
Mm,
I
mhm.
love that. I love that.
Yeah. And I'm also grateful that I'm not in jail, guys, because some days
Oh my goodness.
you gotta be thankful for the small things.
Oh my girl.
Some This is
Caught
some
me so off
days,
guard.
some days that you're just like, boy, times are rough.
Well, I mean, the beauty of community is that we crowd serve the veil. So we will not leave you there unto yourself.
Exactly.
I know you guys would come visit me, you know. Sometimes I'm
Oh,
like,
we
you
break
know,
it out.
I'm sure they need therapists in jail on the other side. I'm just saying, but I don't want to be that person. That I want to be.
Oh, but, I will say this though. I think the beauty of us having this conversation is because I do think that sometimes, I sometimes, as a therapist, I stop and I think to myself, I was like, I should know all the tools. Like, why am I in this state right now when, these are conversations I have with people all the time. And right now my brain is not working for myself to access these things. And it just shows, I think this just really kind of shows the humanity behind it all.
Yeah.
It's not about being an expert in this area or knowing all the things. We are all going to have these up and down moments where we're going to have to kind of, do that deep dive within to slow some things down so that we can access things. Because even within our community, intergenerationally, we already have tools towards gratitude. This is highlighted in what we talked about, the storytelling, the music, the food, and the collective community that we have. Those are all resilience factors that have been passed down. They're innate to us. But as we kind of navigate the hustle and bustle of life, we do need to do that kind of work to slow things down so that we can access that. And so hopefully for our listeners, they realize that it's not a matter of we got it all together, because clearly we don't. Felicia just happy she ain't in jail, so we are just sometimes.
Yes, Lord.
I'm noticing there's a question in the chat right here from Felicia from Aspen, Colorado. I'll let you take it, Felicia.
Oh, give me one moment. I gotta see that. 1 second. All right. Okay. Does attitude and gratitude go together? And this is from Kenisha in Aspen, Colorado.
Hi, Kenisha.
Hey, girl. Hey.
So that's a good question, Kenisha. Does attitude and gratitude go together? I would say so, right? That there's the saying, having an attitude of gratitude, right? It really is about having a choice, right? I'm going to choose to actually be grateful. I'm going to choose to look at things this way. I'm going to choose to see this as a win, right? Even if it's a micro win, I'm going to choose to see it that way, right? And I do believe that it's an attitude, right? And so I'm going to go into a little bit about mindset right now, because we can either have a fixed mindset or a growth mindset, right? And when we talk about attitude, it really is the attitude that we have towards the struggles and the stressors in our life, right? For some people, they have more of a fixed mindset. That means that tough things are going to come, challenges are going to come their way, and they're going to be like, this is hard, and they're going to just stay in that place. You might see some victimhood show up in them, right? And things like that. It's the woe is me mentality around it, the woe is me attitude, right? But then you have other people on the other side who have more of a growth mindset, right? So the same stressors and hard times and challenges will come their way, and they're actually going to then see it as, you know what? Yeah, that was a bump in the road. Yes, that was hard. That was not easy for me. And yet I'm still going to choose to push on. I'm still going to choose to move on. And I'm going to choose to do so with a good attitude, right? You can always grow from one to the next, right? So you can grow from having a fixed mindset into having more of a growth mindset, right? And a huge part of that growth does come from the attitude that you choose to adopt around this, right? That will definitely help if you have a practice of gratitude where you're actually going, okay, I can do this. Okay, it's not the end of the world. Okay, I can still breathe. I can still walk. I can still, do the things that I need to do. And so I would say that it definitely has a connection between the two things, and encourage you to, try and adopt more of a growth mindset.
And I would add, I think one influences the other,
Mhm.
right? I mean, in all reality, we're not always gonna have a good attitude, right?
Mhm.
Things are happening, or maybe you are just in that place. The mess is the mess, and life is just lifing for you in that moment, right? And so, I think sometimes gratitude can help shift that mindset or shift that attitude. Sorry, and I think if you do, as Charlene was saying, if you do have a growth mindset, it helps to
Mhm.
take you from one to the other. So I do think that they have a reciprocal
Mhm.
impact on one another, where sometimes the attitude really helps you to embrace moments of gratitude, whereas sometimes having that discipline and that practice of gratitude can really help you shift your attitude at any moment.
Mhm. Absolutely. And I think that what I'm hearing underlying what both of you are saying is that there has to be some sense of intentionality,
Yeah.
Mhm.
right? And at least a little bit of openness,
Yes.
Yeah.
right? It's okay if you're skeptical, but have a little bit of openness.
Mhm.
And then it's almost like a domino effect, I think.
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely.
And
Great
I think
question.
hope. Yeah. And I think hope, right?
Mhm.
Having some hope that maybe this afternoon could be a little bit better than this morning,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Even that, if that's all you could do, I have a hope that this evening will be better than this afternoon and this morning.
Yeah. Those
Right?
glimmers, right? And I think that's it. When we think about glimmers, these are not the points of light that are shining through the window all the time. It's the one that just graces your eye every so often. And so like those micro moments
Mm-hmm.
can really and truly sometimes make the difference between whether or not you see the sunshine, even though the clouds are blocking it, or if it just looks pitch dark to you all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And it's even the small things, right? Like that's the thing, the small things. The other day, I saw this gorgeous sunset, right? With all of these different shades that I've not seen like really together ever.
Mhm.
And it's actually like just pausing long enough to notice it
Yeah.
and choosing to be grateful for it, right? I didn't do it. I did not paint the sky and make it look all pretty. But man, I could actually pause in the middle of everything that I was doing, look up and go, oh my goodness, that's gorgeous. And be okay with it, right? Right? Even things like I love the beach. I love the beach so much. Oh my goodness. But it's like being like with my feet in the sand and just looking at the horizon, looking at the water. So for all of the listeners who are in places that are like warm, right? Just soak up the sun for me, please, right? Just be on a beach and just soak up the experience for me, right? Because it's like I know that when I'm in places like that, man, I feel so grateful for just being on like in spaces that look and feel just filled with life in that way. I can hear the birds, I can see the blue of the sky, I can hear the lapping of the waves, and that just makes me feel alive, right? Grateful for things like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. As we wind down for tonight, I know that we are going into a very busy time for a lot of us, right?
Mhm.
The holidays is filled with a lot of events or like pressure. How do we, if you could give the Love Bay listeners something to take away for this season of chaos or mess, um, yeah, what would you say?
It's a good question. You can't change what's going to happen,
Mm,
right? And the best that you can do is look for the possibilities, look for the good things, look for the wins, look for the gratitude in the midst of it, because it's there, right? Whether it means during this Christmas season that you are sitting there watching your kids open up the gift that you've worked so hard for. This is not Santa who brought it, okay? You worked hard for it and you went and you bought them something that you know that they will love.
mhm,
And just sitting there with your cup of tea and your robe and you're watching them on Christmas morning, right? And they open it up and you see the smiles and you hear the gratitude and let that warm your heart, right? Let those moments warm your heart, right? That's my 2 cents for people, right? There's so many options, moments for you to be able to be grateful for the next season, right? Open to it. That's it.
I would I would echo what Charlene was saying too, and also add it doesn't always have to be those monumental moments. It's these daily practices of those small moments that really and truly allow you a moment of joy, a moment to exhale, a moment to just be. And I would say if you're able to focus on those small practices, those small moments, whatever they might look like for you, they build up to those monumental times where you can now, look at your year in reverse and all of those glimmers eventually make a rainbow, right? So that would be my takeaway is just focus on those things daily
Yeah.
that really and truly bring you that joy.
Yes. And just to add on to what you both are saying, be intentional.
Mhm.
Make the time to find those moments of gratitude. Even when it's hard, just do it. All right. Well, Love Bay family. So thank you so much for spending your evening with us on Real Talk on the Mental Health Hour. A huge thank you again to our incredible panelists, Shanique Edwards and Charlene Lex, for, of course, sharing your wisdom, your honesty, and your heart. Your reflections remind us that gratitude is not about pretending that everything is perfect. It's about finding grounding, meaning, and softness in the middle of all of the hard things. And to our listeners, your presence, your comments, your energy, you make this space what it is. If tonight's conversation resonated, please share the replay, invite someone to tune in next week, and help us keep building a community of resilience, healing, and real talk. So, just a gentle reminder that you can catch us every Tuesday at 7 p.m. on Love Bay Afrobeat and Talk Radio. So, I'm wishing you all a peaceful night, and may you all carry a little more gratitude into the rest of your week. So, until next time, Love Bay family, peace out.
Night, everyone.
Good night.
Bye.